Scott Spy Guy is our second character in the system. So we've already got a Neas droid, and my buddies will be setting up their characters. So let's go ahead and add Duncan's placeholder. Bam, bam, just like that. So we're gonna go ahead and bring up the Spy Guy. Speed things up. We're gonna upload a picture. Really original, like ridiculously original. You just call him Spy Guy. That way we've got a miniature on the table. We click edit. We make the selected token his token. Boom. And we're going to go ahead and you're going to see me flipping back and forth from his character that we built in UG Dudes. So, first thing we're getting for him is going to be wet work. Got his duty. He sounds like he's going to be a pretty scary guy. Just when I was talking to Scott the other day and about what he wants his character to do. And legend crafting. So he's basically his duties that he wants me to throw into games because that's pretty much what duty, comes out to is what is it exactly you're wanting your GM to give you options to do? Is he either wants to half the time he wants to be whacking somebody, the other time half the time he's wanting to make an actual legend for himself. So he's basically creating cover identities, which that's going to be kind of fun because he's seen what Kelly's had to do in Daggers of Freeport, and that's gonna definitely give him something to do. Okay, so species is human. Human, that's in the H's, which is after the G. Okay, total experience. He spent 160 and he has 0 left. Credits, he's got 10 credits to his name. Yes, our rebels are very poor. Okay, career. What's his motivation? He is a believer in the Force, believe it or not. And he also has a belief in the cause to overthrow the Empire. And he is a spy sleeper agent. and also universal, an Imperial Academy cadet. That gives him a huge skill set. Okay, speaking of skill sets, next we go to skills. And we know he's got 12 wounds. He's got 12 strain. He's consistent here. He's got 1 defense with the armor he's got, and 2 soak. So he's really not meant to take a beating, but he has defense thanks to some of his gear. His stats are going to be 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, and 2. Okay, so in his skills, I'm going to shrink that down so we can see more of it. You know, I'm probably doing all this on the character sheet and you're not even seeing it. And you know why you're not seeing it? Because I'm a dork. I need to go to settings. I need to uncheck window pop-ups. Click reconnect. Then go back to characters. Pull up his spy guy and it pops up in Roll20. But we're going to shrink that window down a little. So that way I can see both at the same time, both the UG dude and that. It'll make the skills so much faster. So he's got charm as a career skill and happens to have 1 rank in it. He happens to have computers as a skill and has 2 ranks in it because he is the slicer guy. Let me just double check. Okay, yep, you can see the character sheet here. He has cool as a career skill because spies got to keep cool. And he has coordination because spies sometimes need to run away from stuff. As he levels, he's going to put some points in there, I'm sure. We've got deception because you can't be a spy guy without lying. And yes, he's already got at least 1 rank in there. Then discipline, because a spy has to not lose their shit. Discipline is important. And he does not have a point in discipline. Then we have education, which is down here. It's kind of important for his career tree because he basically gets to use education to know floor plans of Imperial buildings and such and Imperial ships. So it is kind of important he's put some points in there. This way he can immediately say, I know where we need to go. That way you're not like Obi-Wan Kenobi blindly wandering around the Death Star. We've got 1 point in gunnery. That's where he put his human skill because that way he's a good gunner starting off. It'll cost him 15 to get another rank in it, but hey, at least he's got it. And we've got 1 rank in melee because I thought that would be important for him to have. Because sometimes you just got to be able to jack some stuff up. Then we've got perception because spies need to see things, which also makes him really good for a helper in a cockpit because he can help plot course. Then we've got skullduggery because sometimes spies need to steal stuff. And he's got 1, nope, he does not have a rank in skullduggery. He has a rank in stealth because, hey, you need to be sneaky. And then he has knowledge warfare because that's kind of important. If you're a spy guy, you need to know what you're looking for. So that is his skills. Just double checking. His are quite spread out with computers being his important one, since he's supposed to be the slicer of the team. Okay. And let me check one other thing real quick, because I need another window for that. I'll just go into Google and type in Edge of Empire Wiki. And you'll be amazed what comes up is the Star Wars RPG FFG fandom.com wiki. And that has all the career trees you need, including the ones that are not included in Ugdudes, which is nice. Let me go ahead and pull that up. And I'll be kind of honest. This whole game was inspired by the whole fact that I've been playing Star Wars Squadrons, and a few of my players all honestly said, we've never really done piloty types. It's usually ground pounders or smugglers. Nobody's ever really played, just a fighter pilot squadron. So that kind of motivated the whole, let's make this happen. So I'm pulling up the careers page for Universal because I am a huge fan of the Imperial Academy Cadet because in skills, you get bonus career skills of knowledge warfare, which he already has, but you do pick up leadership as a career skill and piloting space as a career skill and ranged light, which he doesn't have a rank in it yet, but he does have access to it, which is nice. And then let me pull up his career tree. If Chrome will not make it full size. Fighting the size of my windows. Why can I not have two side-by-side windows? Okay, because the reason why I want his talent tree up is next we're going to talents, which is on the combats tab down at the bottom. So we're going to first put in his Imperial ones because those are the ones I have to enter by hand for the most part. So knowledge specialization. And yes, I do like the fact it's got the ability to spell check. Making a skill check. To gain additional. And that's an active skill. And it costs 5. Oh, 5. He has 1 rank. Nice thing about this one is it does buff his knowledge education or knowledge warfare. Later on, if he picks up more knowledge specialization, which his tree does have 1 more, he could have both knowledge warfare and knowledge education in there. So basically it just adds a whole bunch more successes. So then the next one we have is tactical combat training. Okay, and that's when melee and ranged heavy our career skills, which really helps a career that he had, which was spies, which is not combat weapons heavy, then gets the ability to, oh, wait, and by the way, these two things are now skills. So now he's got a range in that, a career in that. So now he's got access to a lot of skills. Because career skills, it's only 5 experience, and in one good session, you can get 15 points. You can basically get 1 rank in every one of these skills. So that way he's really super well rounded. So back to talents. So that is a passive, and it costs 10. Super cheap way to make 2 of your most common fighty skills. And there's no rank in it. Then we get the cool skill. This is the one that I really wanted our spy to have, because now he can go into bases and say, you know what, I know the floor plan. Known schematic, and apparently I'm typing really tired because it's late at night. Once per session. May perform. And the important thing is this is a maneuver, not even an action, it's just a maneuver. Really tired. Successes grant familiarity. With a building or ship's design. I absolutely love this ability because this really does help your players actually like know the lay of the land. You can go directly to engineering. This way nobody has to stop and pull up a schematic every 5 feet, which is really nice. Because as a GM, it's a really good narrative tool. And of course, next rank there would be the knowledge specialization, or you can go sideways to full throttle. Okay, so that's the ones that are in the Imperial Cadet. Now we're going to go to the specializations that he picked up as a sleeper agent, which thankfully is pretty much just one. Let's see if Begging for XP has that on their Age of Rebellion site. These are all the little tricky sites that I use, that have great tools. I do believe we have a post of our favorite Star Wars tools that has like the links to these to just, hey, this is where you can find their websites. Let's see if we can get it there. Nope, it looks like the sleeper agent is not one that's there. Nope, so cunning persona. And this is where I pull out the book, because I think that's the gist of it, that it lets you use cunning instead of presence for charm. But let me double check. See, this is why it's good to have the actual books. Okay. So you've got the courier, the interrogator, and we're looking for the sleeper agent, which in the book Ciphers and Masks has a really cool looking Imperial Death Star tech, with the cool black helmet. Okay, character may suffer 2 strain to make a charm check with cunning instead of presence. So there's a metric to it. Suffer 2 strain. So then what I would do here is copy, go to skills, go down to custom skills, and we'll call it that, cunning persona, and we'll put in the parentheses charm. And that's going to use cunning, and is a career skill. And currently he only has 1 rank in charm, I believe. Yep, only 1 rank. So for 2 strain, he gets an extra dice, which is always a bonus. And of course, as he puts points in charm, he raises both of those. And we'll go back here and down there. And it is page 30. Ciphers and Masks. And that only costs 5. And of course, you can use more school, charming things like well-rounded for another 5 points. We'll let him choose any 2 skills. They permanently become career skills. Reduce the rating of improvised weapons, cunning demeanor, code breaker, bypass security. So the Imperial Cadet gets lots of combat-y stuff, which is nice. Then the Sleeper Agent gets lots of computers and talkie-talkie skills. So he's the face man of the group. Okay, so that's that. He's not going to be a good guy, big guy in initiative, but he's supposed to be putting himself in a position. So then we get down to equipment. First, we'll do weapons because he's got quite a few. I pretty much decked him out to be the covert weapons guy. So first weapon can be sap gloves. Sap gloves are nice because they're a concealed weapon. It's nice that it requires a really hard check for someone to spot them. They've got great qualities. They don't really crit. You're not really meant to crit with sap gloves. Okay, we're gonna check something real quick because I do believe it's +2 damage, but I want to check on his character sheet just in case. Yep, sap gloves are 4 damage total. because it's +2 to your brawn. Okay, categories are bludgeoning brawl. Usually I don't bother with the rarity, but I'll put it there. Okay, and it's got 1 hard point, so it could be modified. If you ask this droid to do something really cool with them, you could totally mod them out. Okay, so that's those. Then we've got a punch dagger, because sometimes you just need a covert knife that you can whip out in a moment's notice and stab somebody. I was just watching an old episode of Alias on Amazon Prime, and the dude used a punch dagger to good effect when he got disarmed. Wow. Okay. Hardpoint 1, which means he could have like a cool edge put to that. It only does 2 damage, but it does have Pierce 1, so it's guaranteed to always do 1 point of damage, which is one of those ones that, honestly, the punch dagger is meant to be like poisoned or something, or critting someone with a punch dagger. There's nothing worse than only taking 1 point of damage and being critted into a heap of nothing. There's quite a few different cool martial arts that you can use to add. Okay, let me double check that damage. Let's see. Computer's going slow. I wonder why. Okay, so it's +1 damage, so it's 3 damage total. We're gonna shrink that down. Oh, it's not gonna let us shrink that down. So it's 3 damage. And it also has a difficulty to be seen. And that is melee. Then because, well, he's the computer guy, right? So just in case, he's got data purge grenades. He's only got 1 though. So it is ranged. It's only good for short range, and it is ranged light to use a grenade in Star Wars. So it's got a whole bunch of features, because it's really meant to just jack up a computer when you hit it. We're going to expand that so he can read it. Bip. Because this is a really nice way of, if you're getting taken out, you don't leave anything behind. And limited ammo 1, because he only bought 1, because, well, it's all the cash he had on him. But it's good to have 1 just in case. Okay, then here comes his ranged light options. So pretty much in Star Wars, your player characters are going to pick up blaster, the standard stock blaster rifles in no time. So I always like to give them weird oddball things. Like here is one of the rare actual, slug thrower guns that's in Star Wars. And it's really meant to just be a Uzi type of pistol that you run up and you just spray somebody with it. Does very little damage. I mean, this one doesn't have Pierce, but it does have auto fire, so you can just blast a whole room full of people, and for every 2 advantage, hit an additional target. It's not the best, but it was super cheap. I mean, literally, it was 150 credits, which is cheaper than any armor, pretty much. And then, just because he's the spy guy and he may need it, the unarmed punch. Because again, like I said, there are a lot of martial arts out there which you can pick up for your characters that reduce the crit rating. They change the, if you do crit, you can actually pick your crits, which is really nice because that can really mess somebody up. Wrong one. That's what I get for groping for the keyboard in the dark. So that's it for weapons. We don't have any special combat skills yet. And let's go over to item inventory. So he does have armor, but it's not your typical armor. It's the holographic costume. And I sent Scott a picture of this. Basically, it's a really cool costume that he can make a computer check to change on the fly. It does give him defense 1, which is where his defense comes from. And the ability is really cool. So basically, if he spends time, and he has a copy of the uniform, it's only a purple. If he decides to completely pick something randomly and make it from memory, it's 4. So if he has an Imperial uniform, he can scan it with the computers and duplicate an officer's uniform, which is great. Okay, so then we have gear. Let's go to the gear that he's got. So tools. Not only does he have a slicer gear, but he's actually got a Black Ops data breaker, which is like the creme de la creme of slicer gear. Rarity 6, and yes, it is restricted. He does not want to get caught with it. Because the reason why it is so nice is adds blue to computer checks, twice the normal blues that you would get, and a blue to find anyone that uses a data breaker in the computer system. Okay, so then we've got a data spike because sometimes hackers just need a one-shot slicer tool to make life easier. And we're going to pick the page number from the hacker one because I'm going to give him a PDF that I have of the hacker book. And once per round, may expend a data spike to attempt to disable a security program as a maneuver rather than an action, reducing the difficulty of the computer check by 2. Basically, you just take the data spike, you shove it in the lock, it drives itself in there like we've seen in The Mandalorian and a few other shows, and Rebels especially, and it does all of it for you. So if it's only an average system, you don't even have to roll. You just shove the data spike in there and it hacks it for you, which is super cool. And just to help him out with his encumbrance, we've got the military belt pouch. And just for those low-tech situations when you might need to get yourself out of trouble, lockpick sec. And I like how they abbreviate the lockpick. Because, Star Wars. You gotta make it Star Warsy. And he's the only one in the group that's gonna have a lot of items on him that you really don't want to get caught with. So the nice thing with the lockpick kit is it is a toolkit for opening mechanical and simple electronic locks. So between the data breaker and the lockpick, he's got himself covered for getting in and out of things. And then because he's the spy guy, I mean, this guy's all about skills and tools. The disguise kit. And of course, since I wanted everybody to pick strictly from Age of Rebellion, I'm quoting the Age of Rebellion page numbers. And it doesn't really, it's only a rarity of 4. But basically, it's just what it says it is. It's a spy kit. Oh, did I not copy? authentication tools. This is nice because being a spy, it's nice to be able to prove who you are who you want to be. And the bonus of proving when documents are fake. And the last thing he has is a stim stick, which is not stim for healing, but something for recovering strain and helping yourselves out. Basically, it's a little calf that motivates you to stay awake and spot stuff. Okay, let me go through things, make sure we got everything. Uh, 10 credits. Pretty much that covers the tools, the armor. No critical injuries. One thing I do like is if you click this, it rolls your crit for you. It keeps track of multiple crits and the additional plus number. If you have somebody that's got vicious 20, say, you can just type in 20 when you click, it'll add plus 20. Okay, so notes, you can fill those out. Alrighty, so wow, look at all those career skills. That's a lot of career skills. So he's definitely going to be the bard jack of all trades spy guy that's got the tools. I'm betting some more computers is going to be what he's going for because for 15 points you can crank that up to 3 gold, which is pretty much the sweet spot. And of course, if he hits dedication, he can turn one of the 3 mains here up. I always try to get people agility 3 because it's used for piloting since I knew he would get piloting. So that way he's not some schlub with an average piloting of 2. Because remember, 2 is galactic average. That's pretty much why humans start out as 2 on everything. Droids start out as 1, but they get a ton of points to specialize in what they want to be good at. So that's pretty much our spy guy. We'll see what name he gets picked. Next, I'll pretty much close this, pull it up, and I will show you how easy it is to invite people. Oh, let's go ahead and this is going to be Scott's spy guy. Because see, when he changes his name, it'll change it with. So here we've got wound. And we're going to click this so everyone can see it, visible to everyone. Then, because the way I like to set up my guys is green is going to be your strain. And that I let everybody see because you can see how exhausted your teammates are. Come on, you can see when people need a break. And for this one, this is going to be your soak. So that way when I attack somebody, they immediately know just by clicking their miniature that, hey, I get hit for 8 points. Boom, soak of 2. And then if I got hit for 8 points, it's 6. So I would go -6, enter, and it does the math. Wow, that's kind of horrible. Let's fix that. 12. So again, -6, enter. There you go. And you see that he's at half-life now. And then when you heal up, you just, I'm 12. And the nice thing is you can see what the number is of your 11 out of 11, so you can heal up pretty quick. Or you can just click this, click that, and type in the numbers manually in here. And of course, you can change the name to show what you want. You can tint your character's color. So if you want to have the token magenta, look, it's magenta and pink spy guy. Or red for the rebellion, rebel spy guy. Actually, I kind of like that. We're going to stick with that. No, not so much on that one. I actually have a better droid picture for Aenea's droid with this really pretty blue steel droid, but these are just placeholders for now. So I'm going to give everybody invites. I'm going to create some NPCs later Basically, it's super easy. Now that we have characters, we make a folder. We call it NPCs. Or antagonists, as the case may be, because players are more important. And then in here, I will create characters. Blip. And put them in the folder I want them in. That way I've got it in there and I can go ahead and, create Stormtrooper Squad A, Squad B, stuff like that. And then handouts, I can put planetary handouts for the group to see or game mechanic handouts, things like that. Nice thing is you can just click show to players and they get to see something in game, which is really nice. So we're going to go ahead and exit out. We're going to click that so I remember it's clicked because, that's really important when you're playing. That way you can just Alt Tab and not everything's cramming this up. Exit game. And it basically says, do I want to tell the group something, yada, yada, looking forward for the next session, any little notes. And basically when I click it, it will record these forever and a day. So we have plenty of access to them. And then we click this, we're going to go back to our splash page, invite players. I have everybody in, I think, at one point or another, but I'm too lazy to send invites with email. So I'm going to click that link, go to our Facebook chat, and just paste the chat and say, hey guys, here's the lobby. And when they click it, it'll pull up right to this page. So that way it's got the information that they need. Matter of fact, I think I have another window up. I'll go to the Book of Faces there and do that right now. And then basically what'll happen is when they finally go into it, they'll be able to log in the first time and then I can get their character and assign the character to them. Okay, Weeby Rebels is what I called the group. And of course, we're going to come up with a real name. I think they're going with like Silent Thunder. I mean, the C-90 cruiser that they attach to, since they have 3 ships and it can carry 4 ships, it's called the Quiet Storm. So I kind of randomly looked through some World War II ships of, other countries that weren't American and grabbed that name for a ship. So that way they know that, hey, we're attached to the C-90 Quiet Storm, but we're totally our own rebel squad. Because that way their crew can be sent away. Don't have to worry about the C-90. The commander on board, I'm thinking he's going to be a very militant Sullustan, mainly because he wants to free his home world because the Imperials are using it for building Star Destroyers. You know how that goes. Okay, where are we? In the Facebook group. I have so many Facebook chats. And yes, of course, definitely hit us up on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Creative Playing Podcast Network. Definitely communicate with us there or on our Patreon page. Oh, there we go. And I'm letting them know that I made the lobby. Let me know once you're in the lobby. For the characters to be assigned. And then correct my spelling error because apparently I can't see the word characters in text right now. And then basically what I'll do is I'll make up a Weeby Rebels Skype so that way it matches the Facebook group and put that probably in the game notes so that way they have access to it. And pretty much that is it. So we can get ready for our Weeby Rebels for next week. Alrighty guys, like always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for chatting. Sorry, I was like completely neglecting in the chat there. But that is a good place to wrap it up there and call it a night for work tomorrow. Alrighty, guys. Later.